Hey, my name's Rufus Red, and I'm a software architect and a business owner, and I've been programming pretty much every day for at least 40 years. And recently I started developing a repetitive strain injury and sort of went down the rabbit hole of building some custom keyboards, split and columnar rather than row staggered, column staggered, and realized pretty quickly that I was going to have to go through a kind of a lot of work to come up with a keyboard that was a really good fit for me. I learned a lot of stuff along the way. I picked up a new keyboard layout rather than just QWERTY, and learned a lot about some different keyboard firmwares and different tricks like using layers and macros and combos, all sorts of things you can do with fancy custom keyboards these days. And once I realized that it was going to be a pretty time-consuming and costly process to really get something that fit me, I started doing that, and then I ran across this keyboard called Svalboard. And Svalboard is basically a mostly open source derivative of something called DataHand, which I've read the history. I don't remember it all that well, but it's a 20-plus-year-old keyboard that was designed for people with programmers, actually, specifically, who were having issues, repetitive strain type issues with their hands and arms and shoulders and things. And that company went out of business, and some people decided they wanted to try and create an open source project, and that I think there was a project called Svalboard, and it was a lot of work. A lot of work even for people who are used to building custom keyboards with a lot of very, very tight tolerances that were challenging to get right. And this guy, Morgan, goes by Clausen on Discord, decided he built a Svalboard and decided he wanted to kind of make it more of a product. And so he designed this keyboard called Svalboard, which is homage to Svalbard, which is the World Seed Bank, and the Svalboard, which was this original fully open source strange super adjustable keyboard. And so Morgan has created a keyboard that is not infinitely adjustable, but pretty darn close. Many degrees of freedom for each finger and each thumb, and a lot of control over the pressure required to trigger each of the switches, the distance required for each of the switches, and you can he will make one for you and take you through a process to get your measurements and make you one, and they're quite expensive. I am absolutely certain that they're worth the price, given how much time and energy has gone into designing the board, and also even if you use his self-print kit where he provides you with the electronics and hardware and you 3D print all the pieces, it takes quite a lot of time. So I had recently bought a 3D printer and decided I was going to try the self-print approach, since I'd been building some keyboards. I just thought it would be a fun evolution, and I really enjoyed that. And the resulting keyboard, it took a while to dial in. I think if I had gone directly from a row staggered, normal laptop or mechanical keyboard to the Svalboard, it would have been, would have taken a while. Because I had a few months, 6 months of switching to split and column staggered keyboards, it was actually pretty easy. I think within about a week or maybe two, I was using it as my kind of daily keyboard at work. And then I started feeling like I was missing out at home, so I actually bought another kit and made a whole nother one. I do have a bunch of pictures from that process of building the second one, so if people are interested, or if I have the time and gumption, I may put together some videos on that. There's some great videos already on the build process, although it is evolving pretty quickly. So it's I'm not going to spend a ton of time on build. I might call out every now and then something that is maybe different than the build guide, the written build guide that comes with the product. or some of the videos that are out there. But mostly I was going to try and focus on the initial fit. That's, one of the key things with this keyboard is that it's very adjustable. The instructions that are provided with it are, a very, very basic. And that's great because, you really can do a lot, and especially people with different pathologies may need to do wildly different things. I've now set a couple of these up, and I don't have any really horrible pathology, so I thought at least I could kind of maybe write up my process a little bit and see if that was helpful for people getting started. So yeah, I may do a few videos on here about my Svalboard. It's fantastic. It is definitely easier to type on than my mechanical keyboard. I have a DOS keyboard. I also have several split keyboards. I have an Urchin, which is like a sweep, and I have a DOS Bob, which is a more splayed version of roughly the same thing. I have an Atrius from Keyboardio, and I've played with the QMK, KMK, Chrysalis, Firmwares. I haven't done a ton of coding, and but I might, if I am inspired, I might talk a little bit about those things. One of the guys on the Svalboard Discord has been rewriting the UI for Vile, which is the interactive real-time key map editor. The Svalboard firmware uses QMK with the Vile extensions, but pretty much everybody has moved over to using Keyboard, which is this new JavaScript only browser-based editing tool, and I've done a bunch of sort of QA testing stuff on there, and it's awesome. I'm working on a little command line interface that uses the same JavaScript code, so yeah, maybe I'll talk about that. But yeah, I love my Svalboard. It's super easy to type on. I would say there is some learning curve. It's very strange hitting keys with laterally by moving your fingers sideways. So that takes a little getting used to. And I would say that to some extent, I actually had an increase in symptoms when I started using this keyboard for a little while, just as my different muscles had to build up. I didn't have the original RSI is clearing up and getting better, but I have some just new muscles forming that are sometimes sore, but nothing horrible. And I'm absolutely convinced that this is, for me, the future that will allow me to comfortably type for another 40 years. Sorry for the long rambling introduction. I hope this is interesting to somebody, and I will try and put out some more short and interesting content about the Svalboard and the Svalboard community and firmware and building and all of that. So thanks a lot, and thank you so much to Morgan for making this amazing device and sharing it with the community. And I wish nothing but the best for you and your family with having this be your livelihood. It's a fabulous thing that you're doing. Thank you. Bye-bye.